Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio. Your online radio. The new online radio that makes you happy.
Nomixx Retro Grill. Your stopover before calling it a day. Enter and say goodbye to stress. Nomixx Retro Grill. Ambiance is the name of the game at number 10 Visayas Avenue, Quezon City. Nomixx Retro Grill. Our bar, our food, our music.
Do you sometimes have headaches or backaches after a difficult day?
But it seems like there's no music, no life. There's no. Nomixx Bar. Enjoy a pure new wave experience like no other. The music that defines who you are.
Music, so much music!
Nomixx Bar, number 10, Visayas Avenue in Quezon City. Our food, our bar, our music.
Music is my life.
Nomixx.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by this radio station. Stay aware of the latest information on the COVID-19 outbreak, available through your national and local public health authority. COVID-19 is still affecting people around the world. Most people who become infected experience mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following. Wash your hands frequently. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Stay informed and follow advice given by your healthcare provider. This has been a public service announcement by this radio station.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
Okay, the last time I was in the same room with all of these three people with me right now was a few years ago when they had a reunion concert in BGC, of which I had the pleasure of being one of their guests. Now, to the 80s Pinoy rock music fan, the name of their band is gonna ring a very big bell. Masasabi kong kasabayan ko sila sa eksena. And the name of that group is Identity Crisis. And they came up with, and they came up with songs like Imagining October, My Sanctuary, Sumigaw Umawit Ka, to name a few. So to the 80s New Wave Pinoy rock fan, I'm pretty sure those songs are still on your playlist. So let's hear from them, folks. On vocals, we have CARLA ABAYA. Hello, CARLA.
Hi, Jet. Hello, everyone.
Hello, thanks for doing this. She's enjoying her popcorn right now. And the other vocalist we have, of course, Buddy Arceo. Buddy, kumusta?
I'm good. How are you, Jet? Hello to your listeners.
Yes, thank you for doing this, guys. Really appreciate it. And of course, last but not the least, their keyboardist. This person commands good lighting wherever she goes. On or off stage.
Always.
There's always light following this woman. Okay. Hello, architect LENI LLAPITAN.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Jet. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to hear from all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for guesting us.
Well, thank you for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes. You know, I've been wanting to do this, but I just didn't know how to approach all three of you guys. But now I figured since it's quarantine, you have no choice because you're in your house.
We're complete. Finally, we're complete.
Nobody can say I won't be home.
Right.
Or I don't have the time or something.
Exactly. So ang galing, diba? So, well, unfortunately, to our listeners, I cannot request a sample from them because, you know, these chat rooms are never in sync. Believe me, we've tried that. So let's get right down to our little kwentuhan. So let's start with CARLA, okay? CARLA, the first time I saw you guys at a gig back in the 80s where our band, The Dawn, was co-billed with you and other bands, I already noticed that you guys really looked great. Okay? It wasn't like one member looked so different from the other. It's like in the imaging department, you had it down pat. Now, was that born out of the fact that you guys more or less had the same musical influences?
You're talking about the way we looked?
Yeah, is that does it account for your similar tastes in music as well as a band?
I think it came from the fact that like for example, Buddy and myself, we came from the same school. We sort of like almost grew up together. We had the same style of clothing. So even on an ordinary day, we dress up as if we were going to a concert. So it was in our everyday get up. At that time, the heat wasn't so bad, so it was okay to wear long sleeves and all the bangles and everything. And I think with the rest of the band members, I think it came also with the musical influences we had, which were a little bit offbeat, not so commercial. So it's sort of like just like for example, Lenny and Resty were more into experimental rock. Is that right, Lenny? I think. Well,
I think that is a yes.
Yeah. So being influenced with like Buddy and I were more into gothic, new wave kind of thing. Lenny and Resty were more into the progressive rock. Yeah. So I guess clothing followed suit with the kinds of music we would listen to.
Because really, when I first saw you guys, I already thought, even before having a stylist was a thing, I already thought that you guys had somebody, you know, managing the way you, dress up and compose yourselves on stage. So, kay Lenny, since nasabi naman ni CARLA that she and Buddy were schoolmates and therefore more or less their musical influences jived, did it take long for you to get into the program, so to speak, in as far as image is concerned? Because I remember you had a funny cuento to me. Back in the 80s when you guys would be in a car Kasi 80s to, di ba? So it was the age of
yeah.
extreme Aquanet consumption, right? So
yes. We're to blame for the ozone layer.
There you go. And I would tell Lenny, you were a lot taller in the 80s. Your hair was... Your hair was up to there.
I get bullied by vocalists.
We're far from over. Ikaw nagkwento nito, Lens, na
Sige, Lenny.
You would get into the car and you would have to tilt your head sideways in the car.
Correct. That's actually correct. Because during that time, it was only Buddy who had his own car. So we'd take his cute little Beetle to gigs.
Beetle?
Beetle, the Volkswagen.
I used to drive him. Yeah.
The Volkswagen Beetle.
And you were how many in the band? You were 6, right?
No, Marv, it was, Buddy would usually pick me up in the house. And then sometimes the 3 guys would meet us at the venue or something. But can you imagine, sometimes there would be 6 of us in the Beetle, or sometimes Carla would bring her car. But when we'd
it's like
ride...
a clown car.
Yeah. When we'd ride the Beetle, so we'd be siksikan, di ba? We'd be squished in. So we all had to tilt our heads.
Imagine no aircon. No aircon.
Because he couldn't fit. And then after a few months, I think Buddy's dad felt sorry for us. So that was the only time he let us use the van already. So wow, upgrade.
High ace with an aircon.
So bandang-banda na yung feel nyo nun.
Yeah. But then the doors would break down. So
because of the hair.
Funny stories.
Anyway, naririnig ko I can hear Carla enjoy her popcorn. Naiingit tuloy ako.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Naiingit lang talaga ako. You know how Zoom picks things up, right? So Buddy, on to you.
Yeah.
You're the co-vocalist in the band. So was Identity Crisis meant to have 2 vocalists from the start?
Actually, Carla just she came in when Lenny. Because the first time we played a gig, venue, right?
In a venue.
It was another vocalist who didn't really fit the band because she was more into laces and, the Madonna type of, the way she dresses up. So Carla was watching the gig, and then Lenny saw her and asked who Carla was. And I told her she was my classmate. And she's a DJ in XB. And then she asked if she wants to join the band. And I said, I told Carla, and she said yes.
Yeah. The story was our very first gig as Identity Crisis. We were actually a flop.
Actually, there's a story behind that, Jess. Yeah, it was really a
true story.
It was really a mess. And after the gig, we were talking. Me, Lenny, and Resty were the guys who were talking outside the venue. And then Lenny, and Resty. And then Lenny said, "Why don't we change the name? Because the gig was really palpak, and people remember us, Identity Crisis, as a band who's kalat and palpak in the way we play, and And I told her, how will we get recognized? So might as well just stick up to the name and stick with the name and go ahead and prove them wrong.
You guys were just probably being too hard on yourselves.
Yeah, it was. We were young during that time, and nobody manages us, So it's just like,
So Carla, this is a revelation to me. This is one trivia I didn't know about you guys. When you mentioned that Carla was watching in the audience, tapos DJ na pala siya ng WXB 102 noon.
Yes, she was. She was.
Maybe just that detail completely went over my head, probably because I was a big fan of XB 102. So maybe I just got my timelines confused.
Another trivia would be that my brother-in-law, that time he was still the boyfriend of my sister. Yes, Lenny. My future brother-in-law was the one who trained Carla. And so, I asked him also, do you think Carla would join the band? You know, and then, why don't you call her? You know, and the Buddy, what do you think? Yeah, so that's how it went. Then Carla said yes. There.
Okay, so
yeah, I think they called me in the station that time.
Yeah.
So 3 degrees to everyone, right? So while you're at it, you know, your keyboard parts are very prominent in the band's originals, as well as the covers that you guys used to play. So is it safe to say that most of your original songs were keyboard based in the composition?
Well, the songwriting process would usually come from me first. And then, so everything is keyboard based with the intent of leaving spaces wherein Resty would sing with his guitar. So that was really our workflow.
Sing with his guitars is the right way to describe his playing. Because I was always blown away with his tone. Even during the 80s, very sophisticated na yung tunog niya eh.
Yeah, because our I think that's basically because of the heavy influence of Tears for Fears, the band.
There you go.
So we knew from the start how we wanted the sound to be. It wouldn't be a totally rock thing wherein the guitar would be wailing, but we wanted it a balance of keyboard and guitars.
Okay, Lenny, so that's interesting because, like, you know, si Buddy was humble enough to share with us that the first few gigs were not up to par, let's say. No? Pero it's interesting to note that the way you explained your songwriting now, you guys were already confident with what you wanted musically. Alam nyo na yung gusto nyo yung tunog from the get-go.
You can say that, yeah. In the beginning, it was a conscious effort to sound that way, even with the drums, the bass. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Carla naman this time, since it's only the three of you are present in this little chat room. How are the other members? Where are they now?
Resty's in Hong Kong. He's an architect working in Hong Kong. Marvin, our drummer, is based in San Francisco. Boggs, as you know, passed away a few years
sadly.
ago.
Yes.
Yes.
And he was the original bassist, right?
Yes. Boggs was the original bassist.
That came as a shock to me, really, when I heard news of his passing. That was totally unexpected.
Very, very unexpected. Yeah. Shocking.
Because he had a really nice tone on bass.
Yeah, he was the one who brought the funk in. He was very funky.
Yeah. He has the groove. No? Oh, ganda ng groove.
Yeah, he had the groove.
He has his style, yeah.
Okay, so guys, years down the road, after what? 2 albums by a major record label, correct? 2 albums ba?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 albums.
So I guess you can say that after those 2 albums, life sort of took over. And you guys went about pursuing other careers, no? Carla, notably, you just mentioned, it was mentioned earlier that you were already a DJ in WXB 102. You were called Cool Carla na ba by then?
Yeah, that was my first, one of I think it was Morning Man, Rico Gutierrez, who gave me that air name as I was searching for a radio name. He goes, "Why didn't you name yourself Cool Carla?" All right, so I stuck to it. And after XP, I went to LA 105.9. I still kept that name.
You still kept that name. Doon ko talaga naaalala yung brand na Cool Carla sa LA 105. So, as far as LA 105 is concerned, did you pursue that job or was it offered to you?
First, after XB, I went to work for the family business first. Okay. And then while I was working for the family business, I sort of like sidelined with LA 105.9 as a voice talent. I could not give my whole time to DJ with LA 105.9 because I was still working for the family business. So I was sort of like a voice talent. I would record stuff and record some news bits and all the thing. And then I resigned from my family business, and then I pursued working as a DJ again with LA 105.9.
You still have the voice, Carla. You still have the cool Carla going. Which leads me to ask, kasi uso na ngayon ng online anything, right? Like what I'm doing right now, this podcast. Mm-hmm. Do you have a radio show online?
Yeah, I have a podcast, the Chill Out Sessions with DJ Cool Carla. It's sometimes it's every month or every 2 months I come out with chill out mixes. It's more of EDM type of music, chill out, down tempo, trip hop. And I also DJ for Frisky Radio, also the same chill out music.
Oh, there you go.
So those two platforms.
Go to those places that Carla just mentioned if you want something different and something to while away the time in this quarantine. So let's go to Buddy. Buddy, you are a flight attendant and you have been one for so many years now, no? In fact, I have to say that there was one flight, I think I was off to Dubai. And
you were.
Lo and behold, Buddy ARCEO was there in full, flight attendant regalia. And I have to say,
uniform.
I have to thank you, Buddy, because I remember there was a problem with my in-flight entertainment on my seat. And you came to me and you gave me your device, your tablet, and you really took care of us. And I can never forget that. So publicly, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for
That's what we do. That's what we do.
So you've been a flight attendant for how long?
Going 27 years.
Wow.
Because right after the band, when we disbanded, I was with the airline already. Right. I mean, a few months after.
And your dad was a pilot, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So retired already.
27 years. That's a long time.
Yep.
So let's move on to Lenny. Lenny, are you there?
Yeah. Yes.
Architect Lenny. Now, I know for a fact that you are a very successful architect.
Oh, thank you.
Si Lenny was session keyboardist.
Sorry, Jet. I couldn't hear you. I lost the signal.
Oh, there he is, buddy. So we're going to move to Lenny first, okay? So Architect Lenny, you've been an architect for how long?
Oh, gosh.
Careful.
Okay. After graduation, I didn't practice since 1991.
Anong year?
Since 1991.
Since 1991?
Yeah.
Do you have your own firm now?
I have my own firm now. So there you go. Of course, I started being an employee. And then about 10 years ago, I started my own firm.
And you shared with us your most notable achievements, di ba? Baka gusto mo i-share yung the builds or your achievements. Maybe one or two.
If you drive along SLEX going south towards if you get to Mamplasan on the left, you see a compound there with a curved roofing for Unilab. Yeah, I did that.
Yun lang naman, ano? Yun lang, ano? Simple lang.
Maliit lang yun, maliit.
Simple lang.
Unilab lang
naman. So, we have Carla who's attending to the family business and having her own podcast. We have Buddy who's flight attendant, very successful kasi tagal na niyang ginagawa. As well as Lenny who's been architect, for a very long time. So, are you guys actually working on new material together right now?
Not yet together.
Anyone can answer.
Not yet together.
Not yet together. Pero, di ba, Carla, Lenny, you had another band after Identity Crisis, right?
Yeah, we were part of Local Brown first.
Okay, yes.
And then after Local Brown, we did Maria's Mistress.
Maria's Mistress, rather. Alam ko tumagal yan, di ba?
A couple of years. We had one album under Vicor. we just lasted a couple of years.
Okay, so say you guys decide to regroup for another run, not just a reunion, but something that will more or less signal a longer haul, right? How do you think you guys? How do you think you will sound now, Lenny?
Difficult question to answer at the moment, but we did 3 songs for the quarantine thing. It's just a rehash of old songs. So more or less we just used newer sounds. So I think we're progressing into retro wave. Are you familiar? Wave. Yeah, it's an offshoot of 80s sounds, making use of the keyboard synthesizers of the 80s, heavily influenced by 80s movies. I'm trying to work on something new with that as a base, and we'll see how Resty sings along with it. So I'm trying to do the same process, but with a different, of course, because the keyboards have changed, the sounds have changed. So now, you don't really need to go into a recording studio full time. You can do it in your home. So it gives me more liberty to work on stuff without any pressure. Actually, we're just thinking of taking it one song at a time. There's really no serious talk about getting back together. We're just actually thinking of doing one song and then maybe putting it out on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify, but nothing on a commercial basis first.
Well, at least not yet, right?
Not yet. Yeah.
So, Carla, you think you'll be introducing your influences now? Because you just said that you have a podcast, that you play trip hop and all these things. So, vocally, at least, you think it will change also the way you attack songs or compositions?
Yeah, because I think I've grown since the 80s from how I used to sing in the 80s to how I sing now. It's different. So I think my approach to whatever songs that we will be creating, I think it'll be different. I'll be able to, I have a little bit more confidence, and at least I know it is how I want to sound like.
Speaking of your singing, ito pala, no? I want to share this with everyone listening right now. In those few years that Identity Crisis was very active and I was a witness to, I saw a major change in the way that you sang from the first time I heard you to your later years. I don't want to use the word na it sounded more mature, but it sounded like it had more technique. Did you take up voice lessons or something?
Yes, I did. I took up voice lessons for 2 years. So it helped me a lot with understanding the technique. Because singing is about technique. And it's also about trying to put color into your voice. Because you can have the technique, but if you don't have color or you don't have emotions in your singing, then it makes it bland.
That's interesting. Interesting you said that, because I myself, I took a crash course in voice lessons during the earlier years with Don. Boy pa si Teddy nun. And, the band was coaxing me. They were sort of really pushing me to take voice lessons. Because I wasn't really that good, So, ako naman, parang, hindi, rocker ako. Ba't ako voice lessons, pare? But I did, and really, I have to share your sentiments about it, Carla. It was really life-changing.
It is. Yes, it is.
Pero
just because you're a rock singer does not mean you need to, you don't need to take voice lessons, or you need to take voice lessons. It helps. It helps to learn the proper technique, the rules, and then you can break it after.
That's a good note. Kasi Ako, pagkalabas ko ng voice lessons, I had this, sorry, it's my phone ringing. So anyway, I also had that sort of confusion when I learned all that I needed to learn.
Yeah.
Because, okay, now that I've learned all these techniques and then I go back to singing with a band, parang, you know, my technique and my brain were not really connected. So I had to find my way through as far as the band is concerned. So it's great that someone like you sort of, you know, understood that thing called, you know, adjusting your technique to your style of music. Diba?
Yeah, the process that you have to go through.
Galing.
It's always an advantage to learn voice lessons.
Oh, it is. And especially for longevity, if you're doing more than one gig, you know.
Oh yeah. How to take care of your voice. Take care of your voice, right? I mean, it's your instrument. You ruin it, then you can't perform. It's not like you can just turn up the volume and turn the treble up, the bass up. So
exactly, a guitar player can be sick as a dog, but as long as his fingers are working, he can do the gig. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Our instruments are organic.
Well, if we're puyat, we have no sleep, for example, it's hard to sing properly.
Absolutely. Kaya ako sinasabi ko, ang pinakamalaking kalaban ko is not even drinking cold or whatever. It's really the lack of sleep.
Yes, that's true. Lack of sleep.
Oh, so there you go, guys. Kung sino man ng mga vocalista nakikinig dyan, you learned a thing or two from Carla because those are really important things.
Yeah, they are.
If you can afford to take voice lessons, wag kayong mahihiya to take it because it will really pay off in the long run.
Yeah, so, that's true.
So back then, speaking of identity crisis again, especially after the release of your debut album, which really made waves. Even I have a copy of it. You know? At that time, did all of you see it as a career? Na okay, ito na, may album na tayo. We rose from the underground. The mainstream has embraced us. Did all of you collectively think, maybe I should throw this question to Buddy, career na ba to? This is something that we can do for a long time.
Actually, when you're enjoying it, when you're in gigs and you're enjoying it, you would always, and you're young especially, you would think that you'd want it as a career, di ba? Parang it's something that you would do for the rest of your life, you know. But then again, you know, it's the music. I mean, yung uso, it changes, di ba? So, like on the third album. Speaking of, we were supposed to have a third album actually.
Okay.
And the thing is, the singers during that time were gearing up to the rap scene already. So it was like Francis M, Andrew E, you know yung mga sikat na kanta. The new wave type of music was dying down a bit, you know, during the 90s. So parang the record, Lenny, explain nga the recording.
Oh nga, Lenny,
I need my coffee. The recording. What's this? Ano ba to?
The recording company
wanted us to do rap. You know? And it wasn't our thing. I mean, it wasn't our thing. Carla and I couldn't rap. You know, parang they wanted more bouncy music, more pop music from us.
And I think in the beginning of the 90s, when the thing that triggered it was when Guns N' Roses was a huge hit. When I heard their song, Sweet Child of Mine, I go, okay, this is the end of New Wave for now. Maybe after when the wheels turn and, you know, come back sometime. So.
But, you know, that is a classic story, Lenny. That's a universal story because I saw a documentary many years ago. I forget what it was. But in that documentary, they interviewed this band, Warrant.
Yeah, Warrant. Oh.
Terry Pie, you know. So they were interviewing the singer and I think other members of the band. And they were the biggest thing in the eyes of the record company. You know, like when they enter the office, it would be the hallways would be littered with their photos, with their awards and whatever, gold record, platinum. And so they were like top of the world at the time. Feeling nila sila yung wow, the world was their oyster, kumbaga. And then, sinabi niya, after a few years, when the 90s came, the grunge scene came, they went into the same office. Wala na yung poster nila. Nandun na yung poster ng Alice in Chains. So, tumayo balahibo ko doon sa account mo, Lenny, because the singer said something like, okay, that sort of signaled the end for them. So I guess that's when business and musicality and artistry comes to a head,
Correct.
Parang hindi na nagmi-meet.
Yep.
So I guess for every artist, that's something that, it's a reality that everyone has to be aware of, especially the new bands now. It's great to be on top of the world, but if you don't roll with the punches, kumbaga, it's not really a bad thing per se, but it's something that we have to expect down the road.
Yeah. And, it's great if an artist could evolve, from like say during the 80s, and then if you transcend towards a new genre, or not really genre, but whatever is new, if you can transcend into that, and then you can still be accepted. So, but at that time there was heavy pressure on the band, from all fronts, to sticking to what we were. And then on the commercial point of view, we were being pressured to do otherwise. So we were at the crossroads somehow. And, it couldn't be that way anymore. So we decided to just take a break. It was supposed to be a break first, And then CARLA and I got offered to work with Ed Formoso at the time for Local Brown, and then to produce for the newer bands. So, yeah, we just never got back together. And then Resty, the three guys moved out of the Philippines. So they moved to Singapore, Hong Kong, and the States. So, we just said, the three of us who were based in Manila, just said, okay, let's just wait and see what happens. And then that wait and see lasted for how many years? So...
But see, Lenny, what you just described now, your timeline after Identity Crisis, it sort of also displayed your versatility outside of the band. Because you were able to, like you said, you and CARLA were able to produce material for something like Local Brown, who was totally different from your music in Identity Crisis. And then you moved to Maria's Mistress. So there is that sign there. There is that, what do you call this? There's that sign there that you guys can do more, no?
I believe so too. But we just, I guess, I don't know how you explain it, that 5-year thing with a band. That's
it was a learning process. So being involved with the other bands like Local Brown, Maria's Mistress, with a totally different genre of music was a learning process also for us as musicians, which is very welcome. So no regrets. No regrets at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either, because no regrets talaga. Kasi you guys seem to be like, you're still very musical even right now, to this day, to this moment. And you can still do something, hopefully in the future. There was one time, the Don was rehearsing, not too long ago. And Lenny knows this, that, we like to drink. And sometimes the rehearsals will just devolve into a purely drinking session. Nakalimutan na yung rehearsal, and we would just sound trip. I don't know if Lenny was around pa at that time, but merong isang gabi na nagsa-sound trip kami, and for some reason, napunta kami sa Identity Crisis. So one of the band members, he just doodled on his playlist. Tapos nahanap niya yung My Sanctuary, your song. And we played it. And of course, we know the expectations. Kasi 80s yan. So even with the Dawn naman, iba yung recording process nun eh. Di ba?
Yeah.
Gamit, iba lahat, iba yung budget. So you know what to expect when you listen to something from the 80s in the Philippines. But the great thing was, nung pinakinggan namin, after not hearing it for a long time, it was fresh to us.
Wow.
We were
Thank you.
I mean, we knew the song, right? I mean, we're all in the 80s, but nung pinakinggan namin, parang it's fresh. And maybe it's because the new music now harkens back to a lot of the influences or a lot of the sound from the 80s.
That's what I'm saying.
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back.
It's great that the kids see this as something new, that's something they can utilize and use for their sound. Para sa atin, di ba? Hindi lang tayo digital noon, the recording was very analog.
Yeah.
But you can hear it. Kung musikero ka, maririnig mo na ito yung pinanggagalingan eh. So, what I'm trying to say is, it is turning full circle. So, I don't see why Identity Crisis can do a full circle thing. And I'm looking forward to you guys performing again one day.
Maybe, yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this little podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Jett.
Thank you, Jett.
Thank you, Jett.
Maybe each of you would like to give a parting shot to our listeners before we call it a day.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to Jett for having us guest in your podcast.
My pleasure.
And everybody, stay safe and wear your masks and hug your dogs.
Yes, hug your dogs. Buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Jett, for having us. And to all your listeners, thank you. And stay home and be safe.
And be safe as well, my friend.
Yeah, you too.
Last but not the least, Lenny.
Thanks, Jett. I miss you guys. I miss playing with you guys. Everyone, stay home. Konting tiis na lang. We can do this. We heal as one. ECQ, the quarantine extended till May 15. I know it's a bummer, but we need to do this. Stay home, stay safe, everyone. We love you.
And there you have it, folks. Stay home, stay safe, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones. This is Jett Pangan signing off with Identity Crisis. See ya.
music. You're always on top. Your number one radio.
Will I ever know
listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Sometimes have headaches or backaches after a difficult day.
When it seems like there's no life, there's no Nomixx. Nomixx Bar. Enjoy a pure new wave experience like no other. The music that defines who you are.
Music, so much music!
Nomixx Bar, number 10, Visayas Avenue in Quezon City. Our food, our bar, our music.
Music is my life.
Nomixx.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
With DJ Joey ALBA.
Back-to-back music right here, right now.
Nobody knows what's going on. Living beings
mix with your favorite DJ.
Follow away, past Monday. Therefore, we lose your heart before tragedy occurs. Have in mind, don't forget. Close your heart patiently before the tragedy happens.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
DJ Joey Alba.
Like walking in the park when it gets late at night. I move around in the dark and leave when it gets light. I sit around by day, tied up in chains so tight. These crazy words are mine. So long they could be. What do I get out of this? I always try, I always miss. Whoa, one of these days you'll go back to your home. You won't even notice that you are alone. One of these days when you sit by yourself, you realize you can't shout without someone else. In the end you will submit. It's got to hurt a little bit.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Like talking in my sleep when people work so hard. They need what they can't keep. A choice that leaves and scars. A room without a view unveils a truth so soon. And when the sun goes down, you've lost what you had. What do I get out of this? I always try, I always miss. Whoa, one of these days you'll go back to your home. You won't even notice that you are alone. One of these days when you sit by yourself, you realize you can't shout without someone else. In the end you will submit. It's got to hurt a little bit.
Your online radio. The new online radio that makes you happy.
One of these days. One of these days. One of these days. One of these days. Can't shout without someone else. In the end you will, in the end you will, in the end you will submit. It's got to hurt a lot to.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Some people suppress you, they haunt you, and reap a disaster. Free education for the infant. disbelieve you. They treat you like survival disaster, re-education for the infants who demanded for an innocent instant. The great commotion shows the content between the world and their embarrassing pavement. Believe the scholars, read the readings, realize the man who says anything. Our love was meant to stay, with or without. It's easy for me, without a doubt. As I spend my days searching for ways, love is all the go. So is radio, Russian radio.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Now that we've learned to deceive you,
blazing the steel. Bring the heat. Mix it non-stop with the hottest DJ.
I feel our love is only a smile away, getting so much closer to me every day. With or without, it's easy for us, without a doubt. As we spend our days searching for ways, love is all the go. So is radio. Can have strange effects. Money can have strange effects. I ask myself, is it a sin to be flexible when the boat comes in? Open the window and out go ideas.
Your online radio. New online radio that makes you happy.
It all to you. Girls have strange effects too. I ask myself, is it a sin to be flexible when the boat comes in? Open the window and out go ideas.
Mixing the beats.
With DJ Joey ALBA.
Nighttime slows, raindrops splash rainbows. Perhaps someone you know could sparkle and shine. This daydream slide, color from shadow. Picture the moon glow that dazzles my eyes. And I love you. Just lying smiling in the dark, shooting stars around your heart. Dreams come bouncing in your head, pure and simple every time. Now you're crying in your sleep. I wish you'd never learn to weep. Don't sell the dreams you should be keeping, pure and simple every time. Dream of sights of sleigh rides in seasons, where feelings, not reasons, can make you decide. As leaves pour down, splash autumn on gardens, as colder nights harden, their moonlit delights. And I love you. Just lying smiling in the dark, shooting stars around your heart. Dreams come bouncing in your head, pure and simple every time. Now you're crying in your sleep. I wish you'd never learn to weep. Don't sell the dreams you should be keeping, pure and simple every time. Look at me with starry eyes, push me up the starry skies. The stardust in my head, pure and simple every time. Fresh and deep as oceans new, shiver at the sight of you. I'll sing a soft tune, pure and simple over you.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
If love's the truth, then look no lies and let me swim around your eyes. I found a place I'll never leave. Shut my mouth and just believe love is the truth I realize. Not a stream of pretty lies to use us up and waste our time. Lying smiling in the dark, shooting stars around your heart. Dreams come bouncing in your head, pure and simple every time. Now you're crying in your sleep. I wish you'd never learn to weep. Don't sell the dreams you should be keeping, pure and simple every time. Look at me with starry eyes, push me up to starry skies. The stardust in my head, pure and simple every time. Fresh and deep as oceans new, shiver at the sight of you. I sing a softer tune, pure and simple over you. Pure and simple just for you.
He's walking where I'm afraid I don't know. I see the firemen jumping from the windows. There's panic and I hear somebody scream. He picks up useless paper and puts it in my pocket. I'm trying very hard to keep my fingers clean. I can't remember, tell me what's his name.
My name is Michael Caine.
And all I wanted was a word or photograph to keep at home. And all I wanted was a word or photograph to keep. The sun is laughing, it's another broken morning. I see a shadow and call out to try and warn him. He didn't seem to hear, just turned away. The quiet fellow follows, points his finger straight at you. He had to sacrifice his pride, yes, throw it all away.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
In the mix. Back to back, beat to beat. Come on, DJ. Hit me with another track.
Who will buy my flaming sword? Who wield it strong and broad? The loved ones are in our care, adrift in a world unfair. Flaming sword, who wield it strong and broad, cold, cold, but all flesh is mine, a night of love, and I will drink the wine.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Who will take this burning rose, a symbol, a spear of gold, steadfast against the hour, touched by an earthly burning rose, a symbol, a spear of gold, cold is cold, but all the flesh is mine, the nights of love, and I will drink
listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
Sing the beats. With DJ Joey ALBA.
Since I kissed the day we just flew away. I have done my best against the odds, and then from time to time you're gone. It makes me feel so strong. And when I get that way, my dreams are fade away. In the time it takes to love me, I love you. Time and space won't keep us down. I see your face and my feet don't touch the ground. We could fall in love. We could change the world. We could see each other floating through the girl. And every move I make, it takes me back to you. When the show is over, the light comes shining through. In the time it takes to love me, I love you. Time and space won't keep us down. I see your face and my feet don't touch the ground. Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's always a better choice. Your songs on your radio. My one and only station.
Mixing the beats with DJ Joey ALBA.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
She floats like a swan, grace on the water, lips like sugar, lips like sugar. Just when you think you caught her, she glides across the water. She calls for you tonight to share this moonlight. You float down the river, she asking you to give her lips like sugar, sugar kisses, lips like sugar, sugar She knows what she knows. I know what she's thinking. Sugar kisses, sugar kisses. Just when you think she's yours, she's flown to other shores to laugh at how you break and melt into this lake. You float down the river, you never give her lips like sugar, sugar kisses, lips like sugar, sugar kisses.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio. Listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
waste your love on another. Sharon, don't love the taste of another. I've been here forevermore. Oh, Sharon, don't break my heart. Oh, Sharon. I must have made it through a moment or two of desire, waiting for the right occasion to keep ahead of a curious mind, moving on, moving uptown. If I believe it couldn't happen this way, but it did, then there's a life, a box of magic. It can strike you down, it can strike you deep down. Oh, Sharon, don't take your love to another. Sharon, don't lie awake with another. I would give you anything, I just wouldn't know where to start. Oh, Sharon, don't waste your love on another. Sharon, don't love the taste of another. I've been here forevermore. Oh, Sharon, don't break my heart. She thinks she's happy, she's mistaken. 'Cause I have a feeling for now I've heard it 1,000 lies. All forsaken, all forsaken. Sharon, oh Sharon, there's a life, a box of magic. Oh, Sharon, don't take your love to another. Sharon, don't lie awake with another. I would give you anything, I just wouldn't know where to start.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
Blazing the steel. Bring the heat. Mix it non-stop with the hottest DJ.
So many questions have a reason. So many reasons for what we should do. But longer than the words you have to answer. A contract of love is nothing new to you. Around you, baby, I'm on fire. Maybe you're just what I've been looking for. Stay by my side. Let me show you more. I'm waiting for the moment, 'cause tonight I'm gonna stay. I know we are the same as yesterday. Tonight is not the night to go away. I could hold you for the rest of my life. Make it clear what you desire tonight. Baby, it's time.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one
I'll
radio.
never change. You've got the best of me. So close your eyes beside me, 'cause tomorrow's on its way. I know we are the same as yesterday. Tonight is not the night to go away. I could hold you for the rest of my life. Make it clear what you desire tonight. Oh, we are the same. I know we are the same as yesterday. Tonight is not the night to go away. I could hold you for the rest of my life. Make it clear what you desire tonight. What you desire tonight.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.
It's the same old story. How you gonna change the world? But all the people, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. There's just one tiny problem that just seems to linger. But you can change back windows in my house, and there's one thing certain. You ain't gonna start a war. You ain't gonna start a war. Listen what they're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You ain't gonna start a war. You ain't gonna start a war. Just listen what they're saying. Walking through a sunset morning, that's been at true times in your name. I've seen old friend and a life that surrounds me. I'm shining a back home, and there's one thing certain. You really gonna start a war. Really gonna start a war. Just listen what they're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You really gonna start a war. Really gonna
number one radio.
With DJ Joey ALBA.
Right now, live and in the mix with your favorite DJ.
You're listening to Nomixx Bar Live. Our bar, our food, our music.